Hello and welcome to the Thought for the Day on Wednesday the 29th of April 2020. Today's subject is forgiveness. What do you picture in your mind when I mention the word forgiveness? Do you remember someone who really hurt you and you find it really difficult to forgive them? Do you remember someone you wronged and you just wish you could turn the clock back because you can no longer put it right? Both of these things are true for me to some extent, but I also think about my children arguing and fighting with their friends or with each other. They get so upset and blame each other, and you have no idea who's in the right if either of them are. More often than not, you end up finding some common ground, get them to say sorry to each other and give each other a hug to make it all better. It usually works, and within a minute or two, they're having a great time together again. What's happened there, though? There's some form of transaction that takes place where they've accepted they've done wrong, they say sorry for it and display that remorse in an act of moving on. They've recognised the part they've played in the upset, forgive each other immediately and completely, usually, and re-establish their friendship. If only it was that simple for us when we get to adulthood. For us, our anger often takes a long time to subside. The feeling of hurt takes longer still, and by the time we feel ready to put it right, time's moved on and a relationship has been seriously damaged or even lost. We often continue to chew on it and harbour resentment that eats away at us until the only person we're hurting is ourselves. It can all get so messy for us, can't it? How about situations where we've been hurt by someone we don't even know? What do you think of the stance of people like Fionn Murray? She decided to forgive the brothers who murdered her son Martin, who was killed at the Ariana Grande bombing in 2017 in Manchester. She said this: "Have I forgiven? Yes. I know it's controversial, but being angry and upset isn't going to bring Martin back. I need to look forward to keep my sanity. Forgiveness is for my sake, so I can keep control of my life." You don't ever come to terms with what's happened. And then she says, "Forgiving lets me win over my emotions, and it helps me to still be a wife, a mother, and a grandmother. I need to continue in those roles." Not everyone could or wants to take the stance Fionn has, but you can hear that she's refusing to let her life be eaten away by something that she has no control over. You can also hear that for her, choosing to forgive is the way to let things go so she can get on with her own life. These are interesting perspectives on forgiveness, aren't they? It makes us wonder, what exactly is forgiveness? In the days before the NHS, there was a GP in Scotland who, like all other doctors, used to keep a ledger of all the patients he'd seen. The ledger included their details, their symptoms, the diagnosis, any prescription required, and the cost. He was very kind to his patients, this doctor, and when they didn't have enough money to pay their doctor's bill, he would write one word diagonally across the page in red ink. The word was forgiven. The truth was that he did this so frequently, there were more bills forgiven than there were paid. After his death, his executors realised how much his estate could benefit if all these forgiven debts were collected, so they took the case to court. The case was dismissed by the judge, who stated, "There is no tribunal in the land that could enforce payment of these accounts marked forgiven." Forgiveness, then, is a writing off of a debt that's owed. The debt might have a monetary value, or be when a person is offended or hurt by another. When God says that he forgives us, it reflects that we've all done things in our lives which have caused upset, hurt, or loss. Jesus' death was God's chosen way to take away punishment that might be owed by that upset or loss. He pays the debt and sets us all free from it. The Bible encourages us to forgive just as God has forgiven us. Knowing that we're forgiven is usually really healing for us. To do the same for others means that we not only set free the person who has hurt us, but it also sets us free from damaging resentments and even hatred that we said before. I'd like to encourage us all to be forgiving people who refuse to harbour resentments or hatreds and determined to be free of such damaging feelings. I'd also like to encourage you to forgive yourself for the things you wish you could put right but can't. As someone said, the person who forgives is always the first to be blessed. I'm going to leave you with some quotes on forgiveness that I've found by a simple Google search. There are hundreds of them from all sorts of religions, philosophies and professional help groups. They're all aiming in the same direction. Forgive. Thank you.